Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Sunshine Coast Regional Hospital District at 1:03 on October the 19th, 2023, and acknowledge that the Sunshine Coast Regional Hospital District is within the territories of the Shishel and the Squamish Nations. First, we need to adopt the agenda. Moved by Director McMahon. Seconded by Director Gabius. All those in favor? That motion carries. I'll just ask for a motion to adopt or to receive the reports and other materials on the agenda. Moved by Director Back, seconded Director Toth. All those in favor? That motion carries. And we have minutes of the last meeting of July 20th on pages 2 to 4, Annex A. Yeah, are there any questions on those minutes or a motion to, okay. To adopt those minutes. Seconder? Oh, yeah, seconded by Director Stamford. Moved by Director Gabius. All those in favor? That motion carries. And I have a report. Just thought I'd update directors, especially on just the communications I've had with following up on our motion about the MOU and communications with the other chairs in our region. I also should have mentioned here that when we do want to keep these probably every couple months, have these check-ins, and we're going to invite the vice chairs next time too. We all decide we should do that. So I'm sure Director McMahon will be on deck. Any questions? Director Gabius?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the report. It was very informative. I appreciated that. In your last paragraph, you talk about the Shorncliffe and Totem employees choosing to move on and not move on to Trellis. Like, is there a plan? Like, is there what is the response to this kind of not exodus, but staff leaving?
The plan from VCH is certainly to transfer over as many as possible, but certainly some people. It was a Labour Council meeting I was attending where it was brought up that some people are choosing to look for work elsewhere, and then I think that what I touched on is the concern that what we'll be left with is a lot of the agency positions will probably shift to Trellis, I'd imagine, if people are taking more regular positions at the hospital instead of going there, which will probably be a bit shaky at first, but the whole transition will be. So it's something I'll continue to talk to the director about and update the board about. Okay. And now we've got item 4. Oh, Director McMahon?
Sorry, I did read your report, but what are our next steps about the MOU? Renegotiating our MOU with VCH?
The other chairs actually said they'd reply to the letter, but we did say in our letter that we would follow up over time. So, if we don't get we know that they're interested. We know Vancouver Coastal Health is open to it as well. So, we'll follow up within a couple of weeks. I'll give it a couple of weeks for them to reply. Other questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to item 4, which is the Vancouver Coastal Health cost share request. And we have representing our finance department, Manager Wing is here. And yeah, I know Johan's online too, and I see Johan's not actually listed here, but he's available to answer questions here. So I'll go to Manager Wing.
Thank you, Chair. So this cost share request is for 40% funding towards a domestic hot water pipe, south wing of the hospital. Total request, sorry about that, is for funding of $104,000 towards the $260,000 project.
Thank you, and I'll welcome Johan again from Vancouver Coastal Health, because I'm sure he could probably answer some follow-up questions about this. I did have a question from a director before the meeting started in kind of just if you could review for us how these costs or needs are determined, particularly in consultation with the hospital itself and personnel there. Johan? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. The mouse is good. Good afternoon, everyone. So yes, the needs are being determined in consultation with the local hospital staff. So we have a facilities department that supports the hospital at Seashelt, and so we have it at the other locations as well. In conjunction with clinical leadership, they are bringing forward priorities that is then prioritized through a process that ultimately ends up in a cost share request to you.
Okay, thank you. Are there further questions? Yeah, Director McMahon?
So at the last couple of meetings, we brought up the subject of water conservation, as the hospital is one of the largest water users on the Sunshine Coast.
Yes.
And where are we with that? And if we want to have this conversation, how do we move it forward? Thank you.
Donna, I will do a follow-up with our facilities department, and we'll get back to you on that. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have just a question for Manager Wing too. Could you summarize the difference between options 1 and 2 here as well? It's I recognize you are recommending option 1, but probably be helpful for the board to hear, to better understand the difference.
Thank you, Chair. Option 1 would see the funding come from the, this would be the reserve funds where this type of request is typically funded from. Option 2 would utilize the minor capital funding that's available for, typically for minor capital equipment under $150,000.
Other questions from the board? Is anyone prepared to move the recommendation? You either have questions or you're probably, yeah. Okay, I'll go to Director Inkster, seconded by Director Toth. Any discussion of the motion? All those in favor? That motion carries. And next we're on to item 5, which is the Sunshine Coast Regional Hospital District provisional budget. And I'll look to Manager Wing for that item as well.
Thank you, Chair. So under the Hospital District Act, we must adopt a provisional budget prior to December 31st of each year. There's a final budget adoption that will come before March 31st of 2024. The provisional budget, there are 2 provisional budgets presented, attachments A and B on pages 13 and 14. The one on page 13, attachment A, includes the cost share funding request that was just approved. So that would be the provisional budget that we are looking to adopt at this meeting.
Okay. So really, that's just updating the basic budget going forward with the decision we just made. So that should be straightforward. Is there a, okay, moved by, okay. Is this on the motion,
Yeah.
basically? Yeah, so I'll just take that motion by Director Toth, seconded by Director Gabius, and go to Director McMahon for a question.
Right. So in previous years, it was taking a long time to spend the money, even though we had approved the requests. Where are we with that?
That is a question to me,
Yeah.
in terms of the minor capital allocation, ma'am. We have had quite a substantial spend recently within this fiscal. So it will take a while before the invoicing is actually coming through to you, as we are still dealing with a little bit of a delay in the supply chain, which is improving vastly, but orders have been placed for a number of those items that were on the list before.
Okay, that answers the question. Any more discussion of the motion? All those in favor? That motion carries. And there are no items under the next 5 headings, so I think we're at adjournment. Moved by Director Gabius, seconded by Director McMahon. All those in favor? The meeting's adjourned. Thank you for joining us, Johan.
Thank you. Thanks.